Drama erupted inside the Nigerian Senate as Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan engaged in a fiery confrontation with Minister of Steel Development, Shuaibu Abubakar Adu, over the controversial state of the Ajaokuta Steel Company. The minister told lawmakers that between $1.5 billion and $2 billion would be needed to revive the abandoned steel project, sparking immediate resistance from Natasha, who challenged the explanation and referenced past agreements involving former President Muhammadu Buhari and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Tensions escalated when the committee chairman, Patrick Nuabweze, attempted to restore order, but Natasha refused to back down, leading to a heated exchange and her dramatic walkout. This explosive moment has raised serious questions about transparency, funding, and the future of Nigeria's most ambitious industrial project. Watch the full video to see the confrontation, reactions, and what this means for Nigeria's economy.
Thank you.
Something to say. You have that, please. Do you mind if I do so?
Distinguished, let us call it a
No, I'd
close
like
for
to,
the
please.
minister.
It's very important,
When
please.
we come for investigative
No,
hearing,
Honorable
we invite-
Minister, please, I'd like to say
I think,
this.
Mr. Minister.
No, please, do not
will
hit the
have-
gavel. I still have something to say, and I think you should respect me enough. Please don't do
I've
that.
given you respect.
No, that's
Mr.
not it.
Minister, your
Mr.
time is
Chairman.
up. Thank you.
Then that's fine.
You
That's
have,
okay.
you have
I
to
think
wait.
you've
Don't go with
disrespected me
it.
more than enough.
No, no, no.
On this, no, you can't do this to me. You can't. You spoke
It's
about me
okay.
enough to allow me to speak. I have something very vital to interface with on the minister.
I said, I'm speaking to myself. I do not want to be a liar.
Yes.
I'm not
Yes,
calling you a
okay.
liar, but I
Alright.
said
Because I
the
take
worst thing
exception to that.
what exception do you take by me saying I don't want to be a, I don't want to be
you
a
said
liar?
we should not lie to Nigerians. We are not lying to Nigerians.
Okay,
We're
so
trying-
when did the Ukraine-Russian war start? When did President Buhari meet with Putin, President Putin? That was in, I think, October, November 2019, right? And it was right there. If you can pull the records from the pages of the newspaper,
Yes, but
you will see that
but
it was at
financial
that meeting.
restrictions
Hold a
doesn't
second,
start
please.
on day one of
Hold
the
a
war.
second.
It's
Let
a
me
process.
land, please. Let me speak, please. It was at that MOU, it was at that bilateral agreement between President Mohamed Buhari and President Putin in Russia, at Sochi there in Russia, that the 1.45 billion was declared
But
by
the
the
war
Russian
was not on
government.
then. The war was not on
Exactly.
then, yes.
And
So
it
the
was
war
then
was the
said
game
that
changer.
that money will be lodged in Afri-Exim Bank. Of course, it was to be taken
But
out
that
of
was
the
under
50.
a
Let me
different
speak,
government.
please.
No, because your facts are not correct.
Whether it's a
That's
different
why.
government,
The
there's
facts are not
continuity
correct.
in ministry. So I do
Yes.
not think that
That I clarify
Nigeria's economic plan should not restart every time a government changes. There should be continuity.
There should be continuity,
So you
absolutely.
probably
This
had a
was why-
briefing from the previous minister. Let me get there, please. I'll have to restart again. Each time you stop me or interject, I will restart. So let me flow. In 2019, there was a bilateral agreement entered into in Sochi, Russia, between President Mohamed Buhari, of late blessed memory, and President Putin. And that bilateral agreement, Ajaokuta was, of course, a top focus, and 1.45 billion was pledged by the government. The money was domiciled in Afri-Exim Bank and was supposed to be taken out of the $50 billion that Russia had put forth for African countries to access. Hold a second. We started, of course, you were not a minister then, but the ministry existed.
I was a banker. Basically, you are right. In September 2024, we signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the OEM, the original equipment manufacturers, basically the guys that built Ajaokuta initially, the TP and the consortium, like you rightly mentioned. But what we discovered and what we realized several months after the transaction, the MOU had been consummated, was that the Russia-Ukraine war was a big distraction, and it restricted their capacity to be able to fund that transaction. Based on our own in-house analysis and the research and data that we have, the project will need between $1.5 to $2 billion for a revival of Ajaokuta. And the federal government does not have the funding. As you can see, the capital budget for Ajaokuta is around 500 million. And what is required for the revamp is about 3 trillion naira. So there's a massive disconnect. So we have to raise the funding privately. So what we decided to do with the blessing of Mr. President was to pivot. Basically, I had a discussion with Mr. President, put all the facts on the table, and a decision was made for us to pivot to China.
Minister, well, before we get to close this session, emphasis, please. The oversight we are talking about should not exceed this quarter.
Okay.
Please.
Fine.
Shouldn't by any reason. Even if there is war going on in Ajaokuta, we want to be there. That's one. Two, we are not allowing minister to go when we are still sitting. But because we are in,
I don't close it, I still want to say something.
we are in our own.
Mr. Chair.
You have been
But I still have to
dominated
say
this.
something.
But because we are in our own house where we are sitting, so we might call it a day with the minister, and we'll return the MD Ajaokuta and the National Iron Ore Mining, because we have to attend to you today.
Please do not like
Thank
have
you.
something to say. You have that. Please, do you mind if I do so?
Distinguished, let us call it
No,
a
I'd
close
like
for
to,
the
please,
minister.
it's very important,
When
please.
we come for investigative
No,
hearing,
Honorable
we invite-
Minister, please, I'd like to
I
say
think,
this.
Mr. Minister.
No, please, do not
we
hit
have-
the gavel. I still have something to say, and I think you should respect me enough. Please don't do
I've
that.
given you respect.
No, that's
Mr.
not it.
Minister, your
Mr.
time
Chairman.
is up. Thank you.
Then that's fine.
You
That's
have,
okay.
you have
I
to
think
wait.
you've
Don't go with
disrespected me
it.
more than enough
No, no, no.
on this. No, you can't do this to me. You can't. You spoke
It's
about me
okay.
enough to allow me to speak. I have something very vital to interface with on the minister. And it doesn't matter if I've spoken once or twice. This is an interactive session. And you agree that we have not met with the minister enough. Only God knows when next we are going to meet with him as a committee.